Okay, hopefully everyone can see this. Hello, my name is Megan Karen, and I am the academic program MPH Generalist program here at Harvard Chan. We're very excited for you to join us today for the MPH Generalist Prospective Student Session as part of Admissions Virtual Visit Week. I have two colleagues with me on the call that I would like to introduce themselves, and then we also have three current students that I'll be asking to introduce themselves. So why don't we have Anne go first and then Bonnie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anne Occhipinti. I work at the Harvard Chan School with all students pursuing a Master's of Public Health in any field of study or any modality. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and hoping to hear what kind of questions you're wondering about, and I'll pass it to Bonnie.
Thanks, Anne. So hi, everybody. My name is Bonnie Blanchfield. I'm the Faculty Field of Study Leader for the online MPH Generalist program. I also teach in the program, or will be teaching in the program. Also the Field of Study Leader for our Residential Health Management program and teach in that program as well.
Thanks, Bonnie and Anne. And now for our three current students, if I can ask you to just tell us your name and where you're calling in from, and we'll go to Alex first, and then Janet, and then Casey.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm a first year MPH Gen student, and I'm calling in from Toronto, Canada.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janet Casey. I'm also in the first year of the MPH Gen program, and I'm calling in from Rochester, New York.
Hello, everyone. My name is Casey. I am also in the first year of the Gen program, and I'm calling in from Maryland.
Thanks so much. So you'll hear more from our current students and also from Anne and Bonnie during the question and answer portion, because I'm sure you'll have questions for them. But we're going to start with some slides to go over MPH program options in general very briefly, and then focus on the MPH Generalist program. I'll review the curriculum, the competencies, and the two-year plan for the Generalist, and then review some of the admissions and application requirements. And then we'll stop the slideshow and open things up for questions. So first, just to make sure everyone is on the same page here, we have a lot of different modalities and fields of study in the MPH program, but this session is focused solely on the online MPH Generalist field of study. So this is our newest field of study. It's our fully remote option, and it's 45 credits. And just to give a brief overview, so the MPH Generalist is a two-year program, fully online, only offered as a part-time program. It's our newest field of study, launched in fall of 2021, and is designed for working professionals who are looking to get a broad grounding in public health while continuing to work where they live without moving to Boston. The program is 45 credits, which comes out to about 10 to 12.5 credits per semester. And all of the courses are asynchronous, so students can follow along on their own schedule. There are typically weekly deadlines and requirements, but students would watch courses on their own schedule within those weeks. And then there are opportunities within each course for synchronous engagement if students are interested, and these typically would take the form of study sessions or office hours or group work meetings. The average time commitment in the program would be about 15 to 20 hours a week of work in the program, including asynchronous lectures, group projects, homework assignments, and other things related to the coursework you're taking that semester. As I said, the program is very new, so we welcomed our first cohort in fall of 2021. Because they were our first cohort, they were an intentionally small group of 24 students. And then we welcomed our second full-size cohort in fall of 2022 with 54 students. And we intend to continue having cohorts of approximately 50 students start the program each fall. The MPH Generalist field of study is designed with the same format of the other fields of study in terms of the requirements. So all MPH students complete a core curriculum, which consists of core MPH courses, as well as a Foundations in Public Health course and a Bio and Epi core course. In addition, generalist students will take 7 field of study courses unique to the MPH Generalist program. Those courses are emergency response, ethics, narrative leadership, evaluating complex public health initiatives, public health leadership, political epidemiology, and climate change. Students then will also work on a practicum and an integrative learning experience. And they will start the practicum process with a pre-field practicum course in the spring of their first year, and then have between the summer after their first year through January of their second year to complete that practicum experience. And then we'll meet back together as a cohort in the spring of their second year for a post-field practicum course, as well as the integrative learning experience, which would be a short culminating paper or project where you synthesize and assess the competencies that you've gained in the and then the MPH Generalist also has room in the second year of the program for electives. Students will take 12.5 credits of electives that fall into 3 general buckets of management-oriented electives, policy-oriented electives, and methods-based electives. And everything that I just outlined is explained in more detail in the MPH Generalist Curriculum Guide, which can be found at the link at the bottom of the screen, or also you can Google it and it'll pop up. The 7 field of study courses that I mentioned that are unique to the MPH Generalist field of study are designed to meet 5 program competencies for the MPH Generalist program that are outlined here. And they are to prepare written and oral communications, to build support and to persuade others for public health action, to formulate and evaluate population and community-based solutions, to integrate ethical arguments into public health problems and finding solutions, to synthesize, assess, and use evidence to make informed public health decisions, and to identify and assess a public health threat and design an appropriate response to that threat. As I said before, the program is designed to be completed in 2 years, and most students do complete the program within that time frame. Here on the screen is the typical sequence of courses that a student in the program would take. So for students who will be entering in cohort 3, you would be taking core courses in your first fall semester, as well as the public health leadership field of study course. And then in the spring semester, you would continue with your core courses, add in 3 field of study courses, emergency response, ethics, and evaluate public health initiatives. And then you would begin your pre-practicum course. The summer is optional, so students have the option to take core courses if they haven't already taken them during the academic year. There's also the option to take an elective, or some students choose not to take any summer courses and might dedicate that time to focusing on their practicum. Then in fall of the second year, students will complete their core courses. They will continue working on field of study courses with political epidemiology and climate change. And then they will begin their second year program electives. And I'm sorry if anyone can hear that, my dog is whining in the background, so I apologize, but she's fine. There's no reason she needs to be whining. And then in the spring of the second year, students will take their last field of study course, narrative leadership, finish up their electives, take their post-practicum course, and complete their integrative learning experience. So just a note on eligibility as well as application materials. Eligibility for the program, students need to meet one of these 3 things. So either hold a doctoral degree or the international equivalent of a medical degree. hold a master's degree or hold a bachelor's degree with at least 5 years of relevant work experience. And for students who are applicants applying with just a master's degree, while only having a master's degree is necessary to be eligible, our strongest applicants with a master's degree would typically also have some work experience with that. The application materials are the same as for other MPH fields of study. So applicants are required to have a statement of purpose, 3 letters of reference, a CV or resume, their academic for applicants who are applying and for whom English is not their first language and who have not completed a degree that was conducted in English. They will also have to provide English proficiency test scores. This cycle, the GRE is not required and will not be reviewed. So we won't be looking at GRE test scores at all. All of this information is included on the admissions site, which I've linked to here at the bottom of the slide. And just a note about the statement of purpose. That's a really important piece of the application. There's no interview process for the MPH degree. And so reviewers really look at the statement of purpose to get an idea about the applicant. And especially because the MPH Generalist field of study is unique because it is fully remote, reviewers are really looking to understand not just why an applicant is applying to get an MPH at Harvard Chan, but also why they're interested in the generalist specifically, and to understand that they've thought about the implications of that remote option and that it makes sense for them. So we're going to stop the recording in a moment and open the floor for questions. But if you do have any questions after this session that weren't answered, I have our contact information on the screen, both for the MPH Generalist program and the admissions office. And we would be happy to talk with you one-on-one and answer any remaining questions you have.